Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. It's Mondays with Mallory, with KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's John Mallory. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame, weekdays from 3 to 6 on 95.3 FM The Ticket and online at KTIK.com. Now, here's Johnny Ballgame and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, happy Monday, folks. How we doing? BJ Rains here, John Mallory. We're starting off a new week with you on Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. Make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, that's great, but the easiest way is YouTube, so make sure you subscribe to both the Bronco Nation News and KTIK 95.3 The Ticket YouTube channel so you don't miss out on their daily segments as well. John Mallory is with us as we kick off the week. We got a little football talk. We got some interviews today with football. We got basketball, obviously, with a tough loss that we're going to talk about, but a lot going on, John Mallory. Happy Monday to you, man.
Here we are, right? Another Monday. January 23rd, I think, to be exact, BJ. And you're right, this week, Bronco Nation gonna get a nice little treat. BSU making the super seniors available to the media, so you'll hear from them, hear about their decision to return for the super senior year. And then obviously, you know, the basketball program right now, that was a heavyweight title fight, I felt, on Friday night in New Mexico. And this season, you got 2 home games coming up this weekend. And this season, just a lot of fun so far for Bronco Nation. There's some drama that's coming with it, too. So this should be a pretty good week for both Bronco Nation News and us over here at Idaho Sports Talk. Pleasure to be with you on this Monday, dude.
Hey, we got a new app. Make sure you go download our new app, the Bronco Nation News app. And it's a pretty basic app for now. It just basically links you back to the website, but now you can have it on your homepage and have an easier way to get to BroncoNationNews.com, and all of our videos and things are right there. So it is available in both the App Store on Apple and Google Play. So whether you have an Android or an iPhone, you can now get the Bronco Nation News app. It's free. It's easy, and we would appreciate you to go download that. Johnny, you'd be surprised how long that's been in the works. It's taken a while to get it available in both Apple Store and Google Play, but it is up, and we do have a new app, so we hope folks will go and download that. Johnny, quick mention of the football games yesterday. Obviously, you had the Cowboys losing to the 49ers. You had the Eagles winning on Saturday, the Chiefs winning, and then the Cincinnati Bengals winning as well. And who would have thought back in 2018, just barely 4 to 5 years ago, Brock Purdy took an official visit to Boise State. You can see his family on the screen there. So the tweet referenced Brock Purdy, what could have been, Johnny, took an official visit, had Boise State in his final list before going to Iowa State.
Yeah, then Zach Wilson was in that mix too, BJ. You know, Boise State's cool, dude. They're relevant, and they've been able to get guys like that to come in. And I don't know how heavily recruited or not Brock Purdy was back in the day, but there's big Avery Williams showing him around, Brett Rippon popping in for the recruiting weekend. And who knows, man? That would have been fun if that would have worked out. But I think Boise State was that was the Hank Bachmeier era, I guess, correct? It would have been Purdy over Hank. He would have followed.
No, it was 18. It was 18. So it was the year before, I believe.
Okay, so Brock would have been here in 18. Then that means Hank probably doesn't come here in 19. Who knows? But yeah, you can trace back that stuff. Good stuff for you guys on Bronco Nation News and everybody tracking that stuff down. That's cool to see.
Yeah, you got 3 NFL players. Well, now 4, but Avery Williams, Alexander Madison, Brett Rippon in the photo there with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy wearing a Boise State shirt, and now he's
look at that. All 4 of those dudes are in the league right now.
Yep, and now leading his team into the NFC Championship game next week. So that should be fun. Got to talk about the game at the Pit, though. Before we move ahead to this week, and it is obviously a big week, Johnny. 2 home games for Boise State basketball. Pretty much 2 must-win games to stay in the race and to stay, in the NCAA tournament picture here. I mean, you got to win your home games and you got to beat teams that you're better than. And Fresno State tomorrow night, Colorado State on Saturday. And then, frankly, you go to Air Force next Tuesday, the next 3 games. Basically, you have to win before you go to San Diego for a monster showdown next Saturday against San Diego State. So these next 3 games, Johnny, before we look back, it's a big stretch here for the Broncos.
I think probably the team that escapes this conference, or at least the team that secures a bid to the NCAA tournament before the Mountain West tournament begins. I mean, that's where you want to be. You don't want to go in to Vegas that week and say, we have to win how many games here? We got a bubble watch. Are we first 4 out? Are we last 4 in? Where are we here? I think the team that loses more of these types of games this week is going to be on that outside bubble looking in. And I'm talking about either Boise State, San Diego State, New Mexico, Nevada, maybe throw in a Utah State. Those teams, you have to beat the bottom level teams this year. I don't think there's any wiggle room for a hiccup, for a horrible performance where, you come out and you shoot, what was it? Was it Charlotte earlier this year? Where you shoot 11% in the first half or whatever.
11 points.
That's what it was. No wiggle room for that. You have to take care of your business against these teams, and it starts tomorrow night. And I think it'll be a festive crowd there in Bronco Nation. Looking forward to support its team, especially after that hard-fought loss and everything that came with that in Albuquerque. But yeah, no question, BJ, the team that solidifies, the team that cements itself up top going into the conference tournament is the team that's not going to have these hiccups. And hopefully for Bronco Nation, Boise State won't.
I'll say in my 10 years covering the Mountain West, covering Boise State, I would say the atmosphere and the crowd and the volume of the crowd, it's top 3 for me in 10 years covering the Mountain West, man. And it might be number 1. I just don't want to forget anything, but it is right there.
Wow.
tied for first, man. It was an absolute it was just crazy, man. It was
on the level of Fog Allen Fieldhouse in Kansas.
At times, man, it was. Yeah. I mean, every defensive possession, especially in the second half, the crowd was on its feet and they were making a lot of noise. And there was a steal or something and a big dunk and a foul. And I mean, you thought the roof was coming off. You had to almost hold your ears. It was very loud. And I thought that the crowd certainly played an impact on the officials. I thought they played an impact, obviously, on Boise State. Had a couple sloppy turnovers. I thought that the crowd certainly impacted the game. So if Boise State fans are watching that, and I mean, you got to say, okay, well, all right, it's our turn now. Do that at Extra Mile Arena, man, because I don't think the referees certainly cost Boise State the game, but there was certainly some times where Boise State would drive and not get any contact, or not get a call on some contact when the other end they were calling some fouls, and I think that clearly is what a home court advantage is all about, man. And so I thought from that standpoint, it was an awesome game. Boise State almost snuck out of there with a win, so close. But you get down there, they were 2 of 17 at one point from 3-point range. So you got to make some more threes. That was obviously a big factor. You had a 6-point lead. And then down the stretch, they just could not stop Mashburn or House, and particularly Mashburn. I think New Mexico as a team made 12 of their last 16 shots in regulation. So, I mean, they shoot 75% from the field the last 7 or 8 minutes, and it was just pull-up jumper after pull-up jumper, and Boise State had no answer for him. Mashburn's a heck of a player. He had 25 points. But with all that said, Boise State down 3 with about 5 seconds to go. They inbound the ball to half court. Najee Smith, I think it was, or maybe it was Abo. They catch it. They call timeout. They set up the play. And then we got the footage here, Johnny. But what did you make of Boise State, the play that gets Degenhart to 3 to tie the game?
Yeah, I thought it was terrific, and Duryea special, if you will. I think a lot of teams, a lot of coaches, a lot of programs are going to be jacking this play call in the future and putting it in their system for this type of situation when you need a 3 and you want to scheme somebody open. Well, that's how you scheme somebody open. Pick the picker type of thing on that, BJ, where people thought it was going to be Big Shot. Big Shot gets most of these opportunities, and right there, right The whole New Mexico, everybody thinks it's going to go to Shaver, and Tyson somehow hides and slips through there and gets a great look. And it's too bad that play isn't going to be talked about more because they did lose. So it's one of those deals. But that was fun to see. And it just goes to show, like I use the term heavyweight title fight. That's what that game felt like watching it on television. It felt like some type of Sweet 16 second round NCAA tournament type of feel to it, man. It was terrific. And it should be a next, second half or of the season for the conference for Boise State. And first off, and I like that. I like how the Mountain West, I've said this a long time. The Mountain West is lame in the fact that there's not really any rivalries. The fans don't completely hate each other. They don't have that stuff established. It's still kind of new. And from what I saw on Twitter, especially in the post game with what Leon Rice, some of his comments about what went on, whatever altercation.
Oh, we've got that. We've got that audio. Yeah,
that was BJ. And to read the fans back and forth on Twitter is something I haven't seen that much out of the Mountain West. I mean, you're a Big 12 guy. You know what goes on between Twitter trash talk with KU and all of its rivals. Those fan bases hate each other, man. And the Mountain West hasn't had a lot of that, but I'm seeing that. And I saw that with this New Mexico Boise State thing. If this thing catches a little more fire, and remember, New Mexico still has to come here, so I think it will. That's going to be a lot of fun. The conference needs that cool stuff, that back and forth. I always get entertained by it. And it's going to be a fun day. People are circling that, right, when New Mexico comes here.
The last two home games of the season, New Mexico and San Diego State, right there at the end of the season when a lot could be on the line. So that certainly could be the case. And then Boise State was down 3 with about, 30 seconds to go. And in overtime, Johnny, and Tyson Degenhardt again gets the ball and is able to get the end one here. Another nice play from Tyson.
I just love how he operates. There's the pick and pop. He takes it down to the lane, goes up with his left, finishes with his right. He shows a lot of emotion. I like the guy that'll pump his fist after a big play. Tyson has always done that, given his 3 gesture too when he hits a big 3. He's a money player. I bet if you polled all the coaches in the Mountain West and said, give me the all coaches team, I'm shocked if Tyson Degenhardt isn't on that. I think he is the dream that coaches have for what they want in a player, and a lot of the things that he does well, and they're taking the charges. He took another one in Albuquerque.
Got called for a flop, though.
Which was crazy. I mean, the best person in the country at taking a charge gets called for a flop. That to me, he's better than that than anybody. To me, he should have had a little more leeway, but that's fine. You'll get those flops every now and again, I guess. But yeah, Tyson Degenhardt has transformed himself in a year and a half to a really fun player to watch. And I know Bronco Nation just loves the fact that he's in this program. And what a terrific player he is, man. Big fan of T. Daggy, man. That dude's rock solid, and he can shoot the last shot for me any game, any time of the week. If the ball's in his hands, there's like this ease for me. There's this comfort level, like, okay, nothing bad is going to happen here. Tyson Degenhardt has the ball. At the least, he's going to miss, but he'll still probably get you a good look, and he doesn't miss a lot of good looks.
And fans can turn away if they want to. This is the final play, though, Johnny. What did you make? Tie game, overtime, 4 seconds to go. Now, after Degenhardt made the free throw, New Mexico came down. They didn't really have anything working. There was only a couple seconds left, so they do call timeout. It works out perfectly for them. With 4 seconds left, they get the ball under their basket. Tyson Degenhardt, who we just said had a great game, thought he heard switch. They had said in the huddle not to switch. He switches. It leaves it open for the layup. Najee Smith almost got his hand on the ball coming across, but what'd you make of the last shot? And then Shaver had a chance, too, at the buzzer.
Yeah, good teams execute. This is a good team. They executed. I mean, that was a nice play, obviously, and I guess there was some miscommunication, which, look, miscommunication is going to happen in a venue like that. I would have liked to have a better play set up. You know, if they do score and there's 2.1 left, here's what we're doing. It looks like Boise State a little bit was scrambling here. Like Tyson Degenhart wants the ball right under the hoop. Man, I probably don't want to go there. There's no, I mean, and then you throw it there, and there's 3 players on Shaver, and he doesn't get the look he would have liked. I wish they could have got a better look, but
Yeah.
New Mexico, credit them. They executed a play when they had to, man. What
Look at
good
the crowd.
teams do.
Look at the crowd, by the way. I mean, you literally don't see an empty seat in the entire place. It was rocking. If you've never been to the Pit, man, it's a bucket list place for any college basketball fan. It's an awesome spot, and fans need to get down there. Hey, the Idaho Central Credit Union YouTube chat, check it out. We'd love to have you. We got your comments rolling in. We'll get to those in a second. We'd love to have you keep commenting. And again, if you're watching on Twitter, we cannot take your comments on Twitter through this platform. So you got to switch over to the YouTube channel. We would appreciate that. We are broadcasting from the Cutwater Spirits mobile studios in Meridian at my house today. Cutwater Spirits, more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails. Pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Rowpaint.com. Still got that promo going, Johnny. 15% off. The interior painting in your home. Don't wait any longer. Let the professionals do it. BNN15 is the promo code. You get 15% off when you put the promo code BNN15 in there at rowpaint.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, a love of community and sports that bring us together. That's why Lithia Ford of Boise is the official sponsor of Bronco Nation News, and as well as Bronco Athletics. So no matter what team colors you wear, Lithia Ford wants you to know you're welcome here. And of course, I mentioned Idaho Central Credit Union as well, ICCU.com, the mobile e-branch online banking. It's so easy to use. So happy that I made the switch, and you should too. You can get more information, Idaho Central Credit Union at ICCU.com. Now, we mentioned what happened after the game, Johnny. I can officially say that I've gone, quote unquote, viral. The video that I posted of Leon Rice, 2 minutes, 20 seconds going off on the Mountain West administration. The impressions are pushing 500,000, and it has been viewed over 111,000 times as of the last time I checked. So 111,000 views, 500,000 people saw the tweet of Leon Rice going off. I saw Pat Forty from Yahoo retweeted it, some other national folks. What did you make? And for anyone that's never been there, which I guess is most people on here, it's a very thin tunnel, man. It's like walking down the hallway, from your bathroom to your bedroom or something. It's just a traditional hallway like in your house. And they had the baseball team lining up both sides of that. And literally when Boise State opened up the door to their locker room, they had to walk through a tunnel of New Mexico baseball players to get out to the field. Now, Leon Rice never once, you mentioned the back and forth with New Mexico fans. Leon Rice never once used it as an excuse. He never once said, this is why we lost the game. It had nothing to do really with the game, and he never said it did. He just wanted to point out the fact that it was a dangerous situation that could have led to a brawl. New Mexico fans were saying, if they would have won the game, he never would have mentioned this. No, I mean, at halftime, and maybe people saw it on my Twitter feed, I noticed at halftime something was up because Leon Rice and Richard Pitino were talking while the teams were warming up at midcourt with a security personnel from the arena. Randy McCall, the referee, was over there too, and there was a big discussion going on for about a minute or two right there at center court before the second half started. So it was obviously an issue at the time. Boise State was still up by 6 points at that point, 37-31. New Mexico fans claiming it's a much to do about nothing. Leon Rice, Boise State fans saying it was unprofessional, something needs to happen. To this point, New Mexico has still not commented publicly on it. I asked them that night and the next morning, and they wanted no part of any kind of statement or didn't want to say anything about it or didn't have enough information yet. But what was your take on the incident at halftime?
I guess I don't know if I want to know more. I'm ready to move on from it. Obviously, I think, New Mexico fans they're excited. They're good again, man. And that was the biggest win they've had in the Pit in several years, man. And I think that they just felt like, hey, we don't want this rain on our parade right now. Don't bring this gloom into our party. We're having fun over here. We don't care about this. And, I know that's how fan behavior is. I'm surprised New Mexico didn't have maybe some more of a public statement saying, hey, there was an error, there was confusion, hindsight being 2020. Yeah, next time when we're honoring or having the baseball team come out to pump the crowd up at halftime, let's not stick them right by the visitors' locker room. You would hope that wasn't some type of tactic that someone in the New Mexico State Athletic Department was like, all right, yeah, let's screw these guys over. Let's fire them up. Let's have our baseball team right outside their locker room, and let's give it to them a little bit, right? You're in Albuquerque. This is the Pit, huh? I would hope that wasn't the mindset there. I've seen probably worse cases of something like that being true, so it wouldn't completely shock me if some airhead was in charge of that and thought, I'm going to do this, because it's totally unprofessional. It's completely inappropriate. You have to keep those players safe. And, that Boise State shouldn't have to go through a tunnel of baseball players to the left, to the right, in a small tunnel with, I don't know if those guys were having fun or not. The baseball team, were there a couple of cocktails pregame? Were they having fun? Were they pre-funking at somebody's house? Were they fired up? Like I said, it was the biggest game in the pit in several years. You saw the environment. So maybe the thing I would want maybe more details. Was physical contact made? Were a couple of New Mexico baseball players in the face of Boise State hoops guys, pointing, maybe saying inappropriate terminology? Who the hell knows, right? I guess I wanted to see a little bit more on that, but I'm probably ready to move on. Leon speaks today, BJ. I don't think he's going to address this. I think he's probably saying we're moving on. If the league's going to address it, great. We will help.
I think there's probably a follow-up question. Have you heard from the league office?
Okay.
Has anything happened because of that? But yeah, I think there's probably a follow-up question. He may not want to answer it, but I think a fair question would be that, have you heard from the league office, or did you ever hear from anybody else at New Mexico again? I mean, but you're right. It's not going to change, and again, I don't think he used it as an excuse. I just thought he just wanted to bring up the fact that it was a really bad situation, and kind of a peek behind the curtains when he was doing the video, or when he was doing the interview. Right behind me, like 4 feet away, was like their version of Cody Gogler, I think, one of their like assistant athletic directors. And I think Leon in part wanted that guy to hear him say that, which is why he did, because he was just standing right there and heard the whole thing. It is what it is. It was a scary situation, I guess. And Leon said some previous teams, I had some guys that would have thrown a punch, would have started a brawl. He goes, I really respect this team and these players for getting out of there and not making it a much bigger deal.
I want to know how big a deal it was. I mean, were the baseball players there just trying to act like tough guys for the basketball team to run through? What were they saying? If they were saying anything, was there any threats? Again, physical contact. Was there a barricade? Were they purposely trying to block the BSU players from getting through? I mean, was it one of those? A Red Rover, wasn't that a game, BJ, you played in elementary school? Like, was it something like that? That's what I kind of want to know. But I don't know if I wish there was a video, or if there's a security camera in that stadium, or in that arena.
Maybe there is back there.
I'm sure there is, but I don't think you're going to see that footage unless maybe the Mountain West requests it with New Mexico. But again, I don't know if we'll get much more on that story. It is definitely adding fuel to the fire for the fan bases. Obviously, but
Wednesday, February 22nd. Wednesday, February 22nd.
Too bad that game's on a Wednesday, right? I wish that sucker was on
it's at
Saturday.
8, and it's at 8:30 p.m.
on a Wednesday night.
Yep.
Just burying like the matchup of the year in this league for like fan interest. It's too bad.
Hey, if you're looking for a new job, how about Transportation Compliance Service? They can help you with all the permits and things, and get you into the trucking industry and get you out there towing that first load in no time. Everything from the Amazon truck in your neighborhood to the big rig on your screen. Get more information. Sign up today, transcomservice.com. If you're looking for a new dentist, they can help you out at Boise Dentistry Co. I think it's either this week or next week that I'm heading in for a routine cleaning. BoiseDentistryCo.com. Locations across the Treasure Valley. Full family dentistry. You will not be disappointed. Make the switch today to Dr. Meinert, BoiseDentistryCo.com. United Commercial Insurance as well. They make business insurance easy. If you're looking for to lower your rate for your business insurance, I know we got a lot of business owners that watch the show. 229-8222. UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. And again, even if you're not in Idaho, they can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. So make sure you check them out. And if you're looking for new gear for this week, you got 2 big games this week. Need some new Boise State gear, go check out the blueandorangestore.com. They got free shipping still on those orders over $40 online. Or if you're in Boise, right there on the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall, you can go in person. They got all the Shaver, Degenhart, NIL shirts, all the gear. Check it out, the blueandorangestore.com. And again, right there at the Boise Town Square Mall on the second floor. Now, Johnny, you know I'm a big numbers guy. I know it hurt Jay Tuss' feelings when Leon Rice called me the stat guy in the press conference the other day.
Killed him.
And I'm not going to let that one down for a while, believe me. But I was doing some deep dives into the net ranking numbers and things like that. And Boise State, I'm just going to say this, Johnny, very, very, very close to significantly improving its resume without even actually playing a game. There's a lot of their opponents that are right on the cusp of improving their numbers to the next quadrant, which would really help Boise State. The big one is South Dakota State. That first game of the season, Boise State lost that. That's been, to this point, a quad 4 loss, which has been devastating. Quad 4 losses, for whatever reason, are seen as way worse than quad 3. Even if you move up, 2 spots in the net rankings, all of a sudden it becomes a much, quote-unquote, better loss, I guess. And South Dakota State, Johnny, has made a significant climb the last couple of weeks. They're trying to help Boise State. You've got to be in the top 160 for it to be quad 3 when it's a home game. As of this morning, South Dakota State is now 161. So 1 spot away in the net rankings where the quad 4 loss becomes quad 3. That's the first one, which would be huge. And then Texas A&M, Johnny, is now at 52. And if Texas A&M gets to 50, that becomes a quad 1 win for Boise State on a neutral floor down there in Texas. There's a couple others that are very close. Nevada, Utah State are both like 33, 34. If they can get up to 30, that becomes a quad 1 win. So, Johnny, the Boise State's got to take care of business on the court, obviously. Yeah. But they could get some help here in the next few weeks with some of the computer numbers improving.
I don't know, in grand scheme of things, I think we learned last year that this team's not going to ever get a 5 or a 6 seed. Did we kind of learn that last year? I think the best they can do maybe is in the 7-10 line. I think that's just going to be where they are, and that's okay if you're in the tournament. But I just think if they handle their own business, obviously, and take care of what they need to take care of in the league, they're going to be right where they would be. Hopefully, it's not going to come down to a loss to South Dakota State on the opening night of the season. That's going to put them in the first 4 or even out of this tournament. I think they've done enough in the non-con, and you're right, the league, the computers love the Mountain West this year, which is fantastic. They just continue to beat these teams they need to. I don't think it's going to be much of a big deal, but that is nice because you would want that A&M win to count for something, or you'd want the South Dakota State loss to count for something. South Dakota State goes to the tournament all the time. Are they in the Summit League still, BJ? I'm not sure. Is it the Valley? Wherever it is, they win their conference tournament. That team goes to the big dance on occasion. So you'd like that to be a little stronger, sure.
And St. Louis is number 86. If you can get to 75 there, that would be a quad 1 win at St. Louis as well. You have Santa Clara, who's at number 80. If they can get up to 75, that'd be a quote-unquote quad 1 loss instead of a quad 2 loss. So a lot of teams to follow, but I think South Dakota State is obviously a big one here. Final 2 or 3 minutes, Johnny. Let's check out the chat here and see what folks are saying. Tough loss Friday night. So many opportunities. That's 2 conference road losses by a final bucket in the closing seconds for both. They got 2 losses in conference, and they're both by 2 points. One's in overtime. Kurt Blake, I signed up for year 2. Appreciate you, Kurt. Thank you for that. Derek Morales, bracketologist, saying Boise State is relatively safe to make the field, but these games are big for the seeding. He says win the home games, don't lose at Air Force, and we're in, according to him. So win all your home games, don't lose at Air Force.
I still think there's going to have to be another win or 2 versus the upper echelon teams, don't you, BJ?
Well, that's what he's saying. If you win the home games, you'll be beating San Diego State and New Mexico at home.
Oh, then you're in.
If you can beat San Diego State and New Mexico at home, which is a lot easier said than done.
Yeah.
Let's see. Shaver did a great job on House most of the game, but man, he was money in those final 7 minutes. He had 12 of 16 again.
He's coming on today, actually. Shaver's.
We will talk to Shaver. Yep. And okay, bro, Chill disagrees with it. He's got Boise as a 5 or 6 seed in March.
I just don't see how that's going to happen. I thought we had that. I thought this team's resume last year is going to be better than this team's resume this year. This year, let's be honest, they're probably not going to win the league and the league's conference tournament, BJ. And last year, for them to put on the 8-9 with that resume told me, okay, it's going to be really hard for a Boise State type of team to be on the 5 or 6 line. I think those guys. I think that dude's got Bronco goggles on, man. Seriously, last year, if it was going to happen, I thought it would have been last year, BJ. But
we'll see. The computer numbers could end up being a little stronger. And as I said, if that quad 4, for whatever reason, quad 4 losses just kill you. And they had the Bakersfield loss last year. If South Dakota State can get to quad 3, I think it would help a little bit. It's Keaton predicting Degenhardt's 3 will return to form the rest of the year. We got some folks talking about the poor officiating and the flop call. Cool that Boise State is now a team that people are filling their stadium for.
Yep.
Baseball team's lucky they didn't do that to the 2014 team. Somebody saying, how old are you? If you're picking Red Rover for the game, how
Not
old?
too old.
How
Red Rover,
ball
Red
game?
Rover, send BJ Rains over.
Huge South Dakota State fan right now. So he's going to pick against ball game and stick with my 5 and 6 seed, he says. So we'll see. Maybe we can get let's get a little side bet there. Let's put a milkshake on the line with the OK Bro Chill. We'll have to see. But Johnny,
I will put that on the line.
Appreciate your time as always, man. We got basketball and football today. We're talking to Cade Beresford and Cortez Hogans returning from the football team, 2 linemen. And then, as you said, Leon Rice, Marcus Shaver as well. So a ton of content coming to the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel this afternoon. Make sure you subscribe to that. But also 3 to 6 today, Idaho Sports Talk. Prater, Johnny, JP, Bob, the whole gang will have you covered. A ton of Boise State talk, a ton of NFL playoff talk, I'm sure, Johnny. So it should be fun. We'll be listening 3 to 6 today. Appreciate you as always, and hope everybody has a great rest of your day. We will talk to you later. J-Tuss coming up tomorrow at 9 a.m., but make sure you listen 3 to 6 to them today. Bronco Nation News Live, bronconationnews.com.